I guess we're jumping right the fuck into it. Hello, everybody. I am the fucking bear. And I am excited because, oh. Okay. I'll open that in a minute. I will get to you soon, sir. Or madam. Either one. You have kind of fat hands, but that's cool. This is What Remains of Edith Finch, and this is a game made by what I consider to be one of the most talented game studios alive. And they gave us a game called Unfinished Swan. Now, every now and then, a game comes along that reminds you why you fucking play video games, alright? Games in vaguely recent memory that I can say did that is Unfinished Swan, Flower, Bastion definitely. It was such a pure game, and it wasn't very challenging. It didn't have, you know, the funny thing is, it didn't have a lot of what people would say makes a game. But it took a mechanic and said, okay, we're going to take this mechanic and we're going to do crazy things with it. We're going to make it really interesting. And it was just pure art. It was just pure fucking art. And I've been looking forward to this. And I didn't think I was going to get to play it. But then David went and bought me a copy on Good Old Games so I could download it at the library. And it's been a while. I didn't get to it because I got caught up with some other Let's Plays. But I'm excited to get into it.
A lot of this isn't going to make sense to you, and I'm sorry about that.
That's cool, but can I make your... You are cute. Let's make your voice a little more noticeable, little lady. Sanjay. Ingeborg. Who's Ingeborg? Sven. Are we Swedish? David, I think we're Swedish. Schmorgen. All right, let's get it going.
I'm just going to start at the beginning with the house. Someone had put up a chain link fence, but it looked like I wasn't the first person to hop it.
Ooh.
My brother Milton disappeared when I was 4. It was like the house just swallowed him up.
Okay. Now, a lot of comparisons from what I've heard have been drawn between this game and Gone Home. Now, I'm not a fan of Gone Home, but I have my own reasons for that. No, it's not because I'm a big old homophobe, no. Though I do believe that, like with a lot of games these days, it got praised too much for just including gay characters. I don't think that just doing that should be considered an accomplishment. Look at a game like The Last of Us that included a gay character and did it in a much better way than, in my opinion, Gone Home did. Gone Home did it in a very ham-fisted way that I just didn't care for. But my main issue with Gone Home is that it was falsely advertised as a horror game. They knew what they were doing when they put up screenshots of like creepy areas. And I'm sorry, I don't think that a plot twist or this or that excuses that. That's one thing that you cannot excuse is making someone think that a game is going to be of a whole different genre than what it turns out to be. That's just not, that should be illegal. I don't see how they didn't get in trouble for that. I don't understand why they didn't get in trouble for that. And it's my personal belief that the praise the game got for the narrative and for, yes, it did get a lot of praise for, you know, the gay stuff, which again, I'm not, you know, I don't have a problem with, but I feel that that overshadowed the issues, and I feel that people gave it a free pass because of that, and I don't think that's okay. I don't think giving a game, it's like when BioWare games come out and they have all these issues, all these bugs and shit, and then whenever someone complains, they just say, oh, you just don't like gay people. You're just mad because there's a gay person in it. I think that they use that as a shield. I think some game companies do use inclusion and equality and representation and all stuff as a shield so that no one can criticize other problems with the game. I just feel that way. And I
lived here until I was 11, but I wasn't allowed inside half the rooms.
That just upset me when it came to Gone Home. I don't think it's okay to get a game thinking you're going to get to go on a spooky adventure and then get blasted with some narrative about a lesbian that wasn't accepted by her family or some shit.
Inside the mailbox were bills from 7 years ago, marked urgent, open immediately.
Well, okay, so just close it. Don't look at the urgent, open immediately bills and stuff. What is that? It's like a ring with like a feather hanging from it. All right, whatever. Wait, hold on. Oh, cool. You can see her little hands moving. Is she pregnant? I think she might be pregnant. Or she's just fat. Either way. Either way is cool. I ain't got nothing against the chubby ladies. I kind of like the chubby ladies.
My brother Lewis's funeral.
And I don't see a problem with her being preggo either. So either way is cool by me. But yeah, I'm not going to spend this entire game ranting about that, but it is my again. I did see times where someone would say, and this was before Steam refunds, obviously, but people would say, you know, I bought this because I thought it was going to be creepy. I don't think, you know, and then they would just get banned from the forums. Anytime someone would post on Steam forums about that, and they would just be told, you know, I guess what I'm trying to say is being
but didn't tell me what it unlocked.
Being groundbreaking and, you know, pushing boundaries and being inclusive, all that stuff, which don't get me wrong. I want to make one thing clear, that I'm in support of all that stuff. I am in support of games having more, you know, representation and all that junk. But I am wholeheartedly against using that as a shield against any other criticisms that the game could receive. And there's a lot of websites and whatnot out there that will gladly... Can I fall? Come on, let me die.
She thought I'd know. Or she thought that the mystery would be enough to bring me back.
But, I just don't think it's okay to, say that it has all these issues, but because it does this thing that we have all decided is important, these issues don't matter. They still matter. And that's just my opinion. You can completely ignore everything I said and just go, no, you don't like gay people. And whatever. But anyway, at the end of the day, I am a fan of these kind of games. I've always liked, you know... See, I think that my distaste for walking simulators doesn't come from the whole...
I've driven this way in a long time, but I saw a few hoof prints.
Hoofy prints? Doesn't come from the whole, oh, it's not a real game, blah, blah, blah. I don't, what? It's the dare! I see it. So, wait a minute. Can I take, like, multiple paths and shit? Bye-bye, dear. Can I follow the deer? But I wants to follow the deer. I want to go play with Bambi.
The truth is, even after I inherited the house, I never thought I'd come back to it.
Okay, so I'm thinking... Wait. So, there is no run. There's just, multiple zoom buttons. That's fine. I know people give, walking simulators, like, a hard time. They say it's not a real game. Maybe it's not. Who cares? It's interactive art. Who fucking cares? My distaste for them more comes from how pretentious they can be. I hate Dear Esther with a fiery fuck passion. I hate any game where you can't take 2 steps without the character saying something that they think is deep. And you may think that that's what I think about this, but I don't, because the dialogue so far has felt real. Whereas Dear Esther was clearly just diarrhea of the mouth. It was so blatantly pretentious. It was one of them. It was one of them things where it feels almost like you ever read like really bad fan fiction, and you can tell that holy shit, why are there so many of those wanted posters? And you can tell that the person that wrote it went to like every other word and then right clicked it and found like what they think is like the coolest sounding synonym. That's what Dear Esther felt like to me. I'm a simplistic person. You know, I like simplicity, and I think that there's more purity in simplicity, because I'm sorry, it doesn't make you smart to use big words. People need to get through their heads that big words don't make you smart. Using a big word when a smaller, simpler word would suffice just makes you pretentious. That's all it does. And that's what Dear Esther felt like to me. It felt like they were trying so hard to make things sound more interesting than they were. They were trying so hard to make the story more interesting than it was. And that's the mark of a bad writer, is trying to use big words to mask the fact that your story kind of sucks. So, I've always liked point and click adventures. Well, I've always just loved adventure games. That's actually, I'm really thinking of kind of shifting the focus of my channel towards that. I'm thinking of just kind of shifting away from the horror. I mean, I'll still do the scary games, don't get me wrong. I don't gotta worry about that.
The woods around the house have always been uncomfortably silent. As if they're about to say something, but never do.
But I feel that, channels that are just, you know, people getting scared at games, they're a dime a dozen. And I have a lot of fun playing games like this. I have a lot of fun with, old school point and click adventures. And I wouldn't mind, shifting my channel towards that. And maybe towards, like, some Japanese games or whatnot. I'm actually, I've got every East game ever made, except for the one that just got released. And I'm a big fan of the East games. And I'm planning to Let's Play every single one of them, including the SNES ones.
The house was exactly like I remembered it, the way I'd been dreaming about it.
So, this is the correct path. Well, shit on a pickle. We're going back. But, I've always liked games as an art form, and I've always liked games as...
But now I had questions about my family that only the house knew the answers to.
Yeah, okay. But I'm going back. So... Oh, wait a minute. So this is that path. Sneaky, sneaky. That's why, like, in a late night drink, there's very few actual monster encounters. I mostly use the monsters for scares and for atmosphere. In fact, I think my least favorite... I've talked in the past about what my favorite parts of my game were, but I think my least favorite was probably fear, because I wish I hadn't done it the way I did it. I pretty much did fear the way I did it because I felt like I had to.
As a child, the house made me uncomfortable in a way I couldn't put into words.
I felt like if I didn't...
Now, as a 17-year-old, I knew exactly what those words were. I was afraid of the house.
Well, I mean, even as a kid, I probably could have come up with those words and said, I'm afraid of this house. This house make me scared.
The house felt like it had always been here. Even the
okay.
was older than my mother.
I was just trying to get my peek on, And you gonna give me some dialogue for doing that. Cool. When I did Fear, I had, you know, I knew from day one that...
There's something moving around in the garage.
I knew from day one that it was gonna be, a sewer level, for the simple fact that I knew from an early point in the development and the storyline that, can I crouch? No. Every button just zooms. Shift zooms, control zooms, right click zooms. It's just a zoomy fucking game. Anyway. Because I knew that the character had that water phobia. And I knew I wanted to do something like that, but I didn't really want to do it the way that I ended up doing it. Just like that's my least favorite thing about Amnesia, and about, by extension, Amnesia Custom Stories.
I asked Edie once about the dragon in the pond. She said it had killed her husband. I was 6. It seemed like an odd joke to me, even then.
Yeah, very fucking strange. Okay, then. I had to get my look on because, seems like a lot of interesting things happen if you look at stuff. Anyway. I didn't want to do that. I don't like that in Amnesia. The whole, don't get me wrong, it was scary at first.
I hoped the key might unlock the front door. It didn't.
No, I need to look through holes.
Looking in, I felt like the house itself had been waiting for me.
Okay, okay. Wait, can we? Hold on, wait. Anyway, the whole classic Amnesia thing of you're in an area, you have a goal, but there's something stalking around and you gotta hide from it. I'm not a fan of that. And here's why. 1, it gets old fast. 2, it gets old fast. It's scary, but it's not interesting. And I think that more so, horror games should be interesting than scary. And I know that's a weird thing to say, but I have water. I forgot. I know it's a weird thing to say. But think back to some of the most interesting horror games out there. Take a look at Eternal Darkness. Yeah, that was fucking scary, but it was interesting. The parts of Evil Within and Evil Within 2 that I liked, interesting. The Silent Hill series, interesting. At the end of the day, Amnesia wasn't all that interesting. It was scary. It was groundbreaking. It helped revitalize the horror genre, but it wasn't interesting. The plot at certain points was interesting, but what was your favorite level in Amnesia? Huh? Do you even remember any of them? Do you even fucking remember any of them? It wasn't a memorable game. It had memorable things in it. That's the key. That's what made it such an amazing game, is it had memorable things in it, things that it did. But as a whole, as the whole package, wasn't all that memorable. Outlast. What was your favorite level in Outlast? What did you think was most memorable? Maybe one of the enemies. But what about them was memorable? The way they all stalked you in the same exact way and acted the same way, and their AI was the same, and you just had to crouch waddle from place to place and then run into a room and then hide in the one locker, and then they never would think to check that locker. But if there was 2 lockers, they would always, every single time without fail, check the one next to you, which once you realize that was what they were doing, once you realize their AI was programmed to do that, it just was kind of lame. And yet, Outlast, I consider one of the greatest horror games ever because it was so interesting. Outlast 2 as well. I consider Evil Within interesting. I think that design is far more important. And so, I feel that this all loops back to a point I was originally trying to make. Is that with my custom stories, I didn't really include much in the way of actual, chase sequences and scares, because I just wanted to tell an interesting story. I wanted to create an interesting world. If I could get a few spoops out of you, cool. I remember there was a review on Steam, like someone had put up like one of those little Steam article, whatever things you can put up, where they listed their top 10 favorite custom stories, and mine was in it. And I'll never forget what this person said about my custom story. I actually teared up a little when I read it. He said that a late night drink accomplishes or succeeds at something that most Amnesia custom stories don't even attempt: identity. And that made me so happy because that's exactly what I was trying to do. My goal from day one with a late night drink was to create a custom story that wasn't just another fucking game of hide and seek. You know that one custom story where you're a 16th century plague doctor and you're in a creepy castle and there's something strange going on and then you have to hide from the monster? You're going to need me to be a little more specific, aren't you? Because that's every single goddamn custom story out there. So, yeah. I like, that's basically what I'm getting at. I like these kinds of, as a just roam around. Used to be
a lot easier when I was 11.
And when you weren't, fat, and or, Prego. But yeah, back to what I was originally saying. This game definitely, it does have similarities to Gone Home. Difference is, this game didn't pretend it was a horror game. I even believe that after a certain amount of complaints, they even removed one of the screenshots. I do want to believe that they removed one of the screenshots that made the game look like it was kind of horror oriented. And I'm willing to debate if anyone wants to disagree with me. And my point in contention is that no matter what you want to praise a game's narrative for, no matter what issues you think it tackles, no matter what, which I don't think it tackles any issues. I think it's a very ham-fisted, piss-poor story. But I think that there's other games that have tackled the same issues in 1,000 times better ways. But at the end of the day, it doesn't change the fact that the developers knew that they were going to draw in horror fans that would think that they're getting like some creepy adventure game and then blindside them with this other shit. And my belief is that that's not okay. That is lying. That is dishonesty. And no amount of, oh, but it does this. It pushes these boundaries. It asks the real questions. That doesn't make it okay. That's my 47 cents.
Had been turned off the night we left.
Why did you leave?
For the first time in years, I felt like I was home.
I thought you didn't like this place. So, let's make up your mind.
But instead of a family, there were just memories of one.
Okay, so that's Edith. Well, Edith. Edie. And Lewis. Wait. Aren't you a Left 4 Dead 2 character? I don't know. Not gonna comment on that?
Like how only one restaurant would deliver to our house, so we had Chinese a lot.
I'm gonna say that I don't see that as a bad thing.
After Lewis started working at the cannery, we all got sick of eating salmon. Except our cat, Molly.
I'm gonna be honest, I don't think... Does that say salmon apple pie? Okay, cinnamon apple pie. I thought that was salmon apple pie, and I was about to start projectile vomiting. All right. I mean, I played a game a while back, and I have the video. I think from before I took down. The
table was still a wreck from the night we left.
Yeah, when I took down the old channel. The park. That was a similar game to this, where it wasn't much in the way of gameplay. It was just exploring, listening to a character talk, and all that. But, you know, it was interesting. It was a very interesting game.
My mom was the only one of us who could imagine Great-Grandma Edie living in a nursing home. It was like a bomb had gone off, killing everyone but sparing the furniture.
So, can I... Okay, I can still get out my thingy. Is that going to change at all, like, as I, discoverate things? Oh, everything's on Ultra. Holy shit. This game is very well optimized. I'm like at 80 fucking frames per second. Damn. Anyway. Raw fowl. Cross Creek Cookery. Tasting Thailand. A Viking's belly. Wait a minute. These are just all the shit you had on your fucking counter. I'll say a whale.
Nothing in the house looked abnormal. There was just too much of it. Like a smile with too many teeth.
Smile.jpg?
Even the fireplace had a story. Edie told me the bricks came from the original house, after it sank.
The house sank? And I done gone and already made the Monty Python joke in another video. So I can't make the joke about the castle sinking into the swamp. Into the swamp. Made of meat. So all you people really do is cook. At the end of the day, that's pretty much all you do. Because that's all you have books about. Infinite Jest, Book of Wonder, Time of the Gods. Okay, so at least you have some books that aren't about food. I got a book about food. Hey, anyone ever... David, you want to read something cool? Read this. This book is fucking... Although, one that you might particularly be able to relate to... You need to read that. That's your assignment for the day, David. Go read Dad is Fat. So that you can laugh. I enjoy his writing because he does a little bit of it, but he does. One thing that I can't stand when comedians write a book is when it, and if you've ever read a book written by a stand-up comedian, you'll have noticed this. It's pretty much just a list of all the jokes they've ever told. Have you ever noticed that when stand-up comedians will write a book, but they'll cheap out and like 80% of it is just retellings of their jokes from their stand-up routines? And that really fucking annoys me. Barbara.
Great Grandpa Sven built a music box for Barbara, along with the rest of the house.
The leggies are dangling! The leggies are dangling. That's so cute. Oh. Well. Oh, David. So you got the cello song of the people, which is, and you got the violin version, which is, that's more guitar, but as a be. Let me squeeze my balls here. Ow. I was just joking, but then I sort of accidentally did it. Oops. Is that a bong? That's a lamp. Never mind.
My mom
Never
was
mind.
an optimist, but she never stopped believing that my brother Milton was alive.
What the fuck?
Edie told me once that every Finch who ever lived is buried somewhere in the library.
What? Is this the same person that told you that the dragon killed her husband? Because if so, this person's got some issues. Many much issues. So, let's try going into that basement area.
Mom always told me to stay out of the basement, so I wasn't too surprised when the key didn't fit.
Well, shit pickles. Guess we're going upstairs. Can we ride the... No.
After Milton disappeared.
Oh, yeah. So I fixed my glasses.
Then Edie retaliated and drilled peepholes.
Well, see, my glasses broke. And you've probably seen in recent videos that I just had frames with string tied around my head. Well, I had these pair of glasses from like a million years ago. And I was hoping that my lenses would fit them. But they didn't. The lenses were too big. Then I had an idea. Now, Anna used to call me MacGyver Bear because I have a tendency to just cobble shit together. So what I did was I cut, you see where I cut the frames, and then I took pliers somewhere around here, and I re-bent them, and now they fit, because I'm a smart cookie. Alright. You know what? I think I'll make these videos about 35 minutes long. So that's gonna do it for this episode. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.